It's a privilege to have you on the channel. And just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, and how long you've been trail running and what attracts you to the sport of ultramarathons.
From South Africa, and I moved to the UK when I was 14 years of age, and then spent a large number of my teenage years in Suffolk, and then from there I went on to join the military, and then after a while of running, just to try and keep fit, I then got into trail running, introduced to trail running by a friend of mine called Matthew Foster, who I'm forever grateful to for the opportunity for introducing me to trail running. So yeah, it's been an amazing discovery. Yeah, and then I've been trail running for a few years now. Yeah.
What do you love most about it?
Well, first of all, I'm really passionate about the outdoors and being outside, being one with nature. That's a huge attraction to me. And obviously, with the military background, I've always spent a large amount of time being outdoors anyway. And then yeah, and and also obviously it helps me keep me focused as well. And just being outside is brings me into a healthy state of mind, I should say. Yeah.
Getting outside certainly helps to kind of alleviate some of the load, as it were. In terms of the Wainwrights Coast to Coast, and why particularly this route?
Yeah, well, first of all, I do like a challenge, as you can probably tell a little bit, and not only that, but I'd seen the ultra marathon itself, the Northern Traverse, being advertised on social media and so on and so forth. And then a friend of mine, I think, did a section of it or bits of it anyway. And then I thought, okay, this is one to do maybe in the future. And then I think within a few weeks after that, I then saw an article online just talking about the Wainwrights route itself. So then I thought, okay, yeah, this must be a sign, that I need to have a go at this. Yeah, and then I just took a closer look at it, and then I thought, okay, I need to find some free time, and then I think I can have a go at this. Yeah, and here we are. Had a go at it recently. Yeah.
You get something in your mind, you want to have a go at it. So in terms of the length of the route, can you tell us a little bit more about the Wainwrights Coast to Coast route, please?
The Wainwright route was devised by Alfred Wainwright himself. Officially 184 miles, but by the time I'd finished it, I'd covered 192 miles. So I think I might have taken a couple of detours there somewhere. But yeah, and having spoken to the locals as I was traveling along the route, they obviously and through myself just looking online as well, doing some research. A lot of people would cover it in 12 to 15 days. So they would do it in sections, walking a section, and then they would take a break for the night, and then carry on the next day, and so on and so forth. But then I also then saw that the record holder is obviously the legend Damien Hall. So he obviously did it in 36 hours. So I thought, okay, I'm not obviously gonna go for the record, but let me just see how fast I can do it myself. This is a personal challenge to myself. So I did it in 6 days altogether. But moving time was 70 hours and 59 minutes. So I think part of the plan was to try and cover it within 5 days. I gave myself about 5 days. So I thought, okay, I think I could do, up to 50 miles a day here. And I also did have a couple of extra days in the bank just in case, obviously, things didn't go quite right. So I started on a Tuesday, and I was thinking, okay, I think I could finish it by Friday. But obviously giving myself the extra couple of days, which was the up until the Sunday in the bank. And after the first day, obviously just experiencing the brutal weather going across the Lake District. After 24 hours of that, I thought, okay, I think I might need a rest now. So I rested there. I think for up to nearly 24 hours, just took a break, a long break, and then just had to just, restructure my kit and just make sure that I was good to go. And also, I think by that point as well, I'd started having a little niggle on the knee as well. So I thought, okay, yeah, let me just have a good amount of rest here, and then before I carry on any further. And then also further into trying to break it down, um, I had initially thought to myself, like I said, I'll travel, 50 miles and then try and rest and see where I am as well with sleep. Um, and it turns out that after the 24 hours with the brutal weather as well, like I said, I ended up resting in Glen Reading. So I think by this point I was approximately about uh, between 30 and 40 miles into it. And then yeah, just had a sufficient rest there and then carried on afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing is that it starts in the Lake District. It's the toughest part in many ways, isn't it? So
Yeah.
there's some adjustment kind of needed. I know that you're supported by and sponsored by the North Face. Can you tell us a little bit about how important that is to you and what they helped with in terms of support equipment, anything like that, please?
Yeah, so I just recently joined the North Face Explorer team, the UK section of the team. And that it's a great opportunity, first of all, and one that I'm hugely appreciative of, for, obviously for the North Face for giving me the opportunity. Um, yeah, it's one of those things where um, obviously as someone who comes from the minority background, um, like myself, it's opportunities that we could do more with, if that makes sense. And also it gives me an opportunity to obviously just show other people that look like me that they too can can go out and enjoy the outdoors like I do. And not only that, but also obviously it's great credit to the North Face as well for trying to involve people like myself in the things that they do. So yeah, it's great. And again, a huge thank you to Black Trail Runners as well, obviously, for because they were the ones that made the connection between myself and the North Face. So they helped with that. Black Trail Runners are a campaigning charity group. They are campaigning for more inclusivity and more diversity in the outdoors. But not only trail running, just in the outdoors, yeah, yeah, as well, altogether. Um, and the connection, sorry, the Black Trail Runners. So they're doing an amazing job, and amazing work in the outdoor space. And they're gaining momentum, and more people are starting to learn more about them, and the amazing work that they do. And yeah, it's campaign groups like that we really do need, and we need to get behind them and support them as much as we can.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's a positive message. It's a very, very positive message, and I think that's as much as you mentioned the Black Trail Runners, the group, and the North Face. It's down to people like yourself, that are kind of really making that ground and making sure that everybody's, the message is nice and clear, which is fantastic. So it's very inspirational what you're doing. In terms of the back to the Wainwrights Coast to Coast. So tell us a little bit about the route. What's the different challenges along the route that you might have faced?
The Wainwright route. So one of the challenges, well, the main one was the weather. Obviously, it's never easy having a go at these things in winter time. So it was the rain. For instance, the first day it rained from 11:30 in the morning when I started, all the way until midnight, and then it only stopped for about 3 hours. So I had a 3 hour window where I was sort of almost getting dry, and then I carried on again from about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, all the way until the next day. But yeah, so the weather was a huge challenge. And then I managed to get a break in, obviously, after the first day. But then carrying on, I thought, okay, it's going to come down now, the rain. But no, it came back again. And then obviously traversing across the Lake District, the other challenge was obviously the elevation. And where I live, it's not the most hilliest of parts, so it's pretty flat really, which is one of the reasons why I do try and get some hill reps in every now and again in the training, but sometimes it doesn't work out quite well. But yeah, so anyway, I pressed on anyway, and dealt with it, tried to deal with the elevation challenges and the weather, and then going through the route itself, I think I handled the nutrition quite well. So I always just made sure that when I got to the next town, I would try and restock as much as possible. So, and then I also had an emergency bag of rice, which was obviously it's flavored, but it wasn't just bland rice, but it was flavored. So I had an emergency bag of rice in the
Gosh.
backpack, just
Yeah.
ready just in case things went wrong. Yeah, so just pressed on, dealt with the challenges as they arose.
Okay. So day one was Lake District section, around about 40 miles, something like that. And then how did the other sections go in terms of what was the start points and the finish points and how many miles roughly?
Yeah. Yeah, so and then I pressed on then from obviously moving on from the Lake District section, pressed on, moved towards Sharp, and then after Sharp, I think just before I reached Richmond, I think the town that I rested in this on the after the second day was Reef. That's it. Yeah, so I had a decent amount of rest there. So just before Richmond, um, and that was again that was another 30 or 40 mile day. So after that, then I thought, okay, I know Richmond and the Catterick section quite well. So the pretty flat-ish. So I should be okay there in terms of dealing with the elevation. Um, then I pressed on, just carried on to try and get as close to the end as much as possible. And I think that's when I started to feeling a bit more sleep deprived again. You suffer from sleep deprivation. Uh, but I also just made use of some of the shelters that were in and around the route. So
Like cottages out there, yeah. So
yeah,
bothers, some bothers.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah. So obviously I made sure through the great support of the North Face I had sufficient warm kit and really good kit that obviously I'm grateful from them for. So I made use of it. I'd get my warm kit and you know gloves, everything, and I would just
Yeah,
take shelter for about um 30 minutes to 1 hour at a time sometimes.
yeah.
Try and rest a little bit and then set the alarm obviously on the phone. And then once I was good to go again, and then I'd press on. Yeah, and I just kept doing that towards the latter stages, obviously, all the way until I got to the end. So I just took each day as it came, really. So yeah.
In terms of your footwear and managing your feet, because I'm sure that that's a separate kind of challenge maintenance in its own right. What kind of footwear did you have, and that side of things?
Yeah, so in terms of footwear, so again, my trail running trainers, they were supplied to me by the North Face. So it's the trail running off guard trail shoe. So it's it's a shoe that's got a built-in gaiter. It's an amazing shoe, by the way. And I'm not just saying it just because obviously I'm supported by the North Face, but yeah, it's an amazing shoe. If you get the opportunity, do try it out. It's got a built-in gaiter, so it's waterproof, the gaiter itself. And then the gaiter, the cover, it comes all the way up above the ankles. And then you've then got a zip that fastens onto on the side of the shoe itself. And then you've also got a Velcro strap that sort of doubles up as an extra a tie or tie-in basically around the ankle. So it almost gives you, it's almost like a boot, gives you some form of ankle protection also, and also it's waterproof as well. So that was a great shoe that I used. And then further to the footwear, I had a sufficient amount of socks as well as the spare socks that I took with me. So I just made sure I stayed on top of it as each day was going on, just rotating using the waterproof pair of socks that I had as well, and then obviously some dry socks as well. I had initially taken, I think, uh, 3 or 4 pairs, which I thought after the first day, again, when I was restructuring my kit, I thought, okay, I think I might be carrying a bit too much excess kit here. So I managed to just cut things down a little bit. So I made sure I had enough socks to carry on, but just not too much. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's particularly for winter events or challenges. You've got to look at the kits a bit more stringently, haven't you? You know, there's a lot more that kind of goes into it. The local support, you mentioned the local support, and also any support that you get for these kind of things from loved ones, friends, and family. What does that mean to you?
the local support that you get when you do these things, it made a huge deal to me. It always takes me back. I'm always blown away by it, I should say, when the locals come to your aid and just are willing to support you and cheer you on when you do these challenges and you turn up in their local areas. In particular in around the Lake District area as well, obviously. So yeah, I'm always amazed and blown away by that. It's always a huge a great deal of support. It's always amazes me, and also obviously I'm always taken aback by the support from the remainder of the Black Trail Runners community as well, from the Trail Runners community. We always support each other. Everyone's always behind whatever challenge the next person is doing. So I'm always hugely appreciative of that. And also I'm always and forever appreciative of the support that I get from my family as well, especially my wife, who always puts up with me when I mention and talk about these ideas to her about the next challenge and the next challenge and so on and so forth. So yeah, so
Is
I'm
there
always
always the next challenge? That's the thing.
yeah, yeah. There's always one more thing.
Yeah, that's the beauty about ultra running, really, isn't it? It's just a start. It's always just a start. Even when you're at the end, it's just a start, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If anybody was new to the sport of ultra marathons and ultra running, what would you say? Is there a message that you'd say to them?
Um, if anyone was new, I would say, you know, go out there and give it a go. And one of the beauties of ultra running and trail running in particular is that you don't necessarily have to worry about what time you're running at really. You don't really have to focus too much on that, and that's one of the things I love about it. It's just about getting out there, enjoying the surroundings, enjoying nature, um, and yeah, just enjoy yourself and just immerse yourself into the outside world really.
When you reached the end of the Wainwrights Coast to Coast, how'd that feel?
Oh, that felt great. That felt amazing. I think when I just reached the just before I got to the beach, obviously I realized that I've got a just I'm down to the last mile here. I've got a mile to go until the official finish line or the finish zone. Yeah, it felt like a really long mile. But no, it was a great feeling. It was amazing. I thought I'd reach there early evening, but I think I reached around just before midnight. So obviously at that point there's no one around. So I thought, okay, all right, yeah, I'm here. And then so quickly soaked in the moment, and after that I went into to check in the B&B. Yeah, so that was a great feeling. Yeah, one of great satisfaction. Yeah,
Congratulations, congratulations. And
yeah,
what's next for you?
thank you. Next up, I've got a race in May. Um, so a race that I've got in May, and also I'm hoping to have a go at a couple of the other rounds as well. Obviously, I recently did have a go at the Bob Graham round. That was last year, but I missed out on getting into the 24-hour club by 15 minutes. So I finished in a time of 24 hours and 50 minutes. So that's one I'll have to go back to on the second attempt. But yeah, so I'm looking to have a go at the other rounds, and also hopefully within the next 2 to 3 years I can have a go at the Land's End to John O'Groats route. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Oh, you're doing amazing, no doubt about it. One of the beauties about what we do is that you really, when we sign up for a race or we have something in mind, we're focused, aren't we?
I'm one of those people sometimes where if I've got a challenge in mind, then I have to see it through. I have to get it done and get to the end of it. So
It's brilliant and very, very inspiring. So thank you so much for your time today.
yeah, thank you so much, Wayne, and thank you so much for your support and the opportunity as well. I appreciate that.
Oh, no, no, it's really an opportunity for us. So really appreciate it, mate. Thank you.